Good evening, Vietnam. Welcome to Veterans Live Show. We are live from LZ Bunker. I'm your host, Ronnie Embers. Served with the 101st Airborne Division in Vietnam, 1967 to 1968, with the 101st Airborne Division. Let's get going to bring our guest in shortly. 1 second, we're going to go to you. Oh, this is brought to you by our book, don't forget, Fallen Never Forgotten. There's the Vietnam Memorials in the USA. Okay, the Vietnam timeline, January 20th, 1964. The Central Committee of the Communist Party of Vietnam adopted Resolution 9. The secret resolution, of course, declared an all-out war on South Vietnam to defeat the ARVN before the United States could introduce a large number of American soldiers to the war. The number one song in this date, in January 20th, 1964, was, come on, all you music buffs, Bobby Vinton. Remember Bobby Vinton? There, I said it again. Okay. This date in the Vietnam War, January 20th, 1972. The continued efforts to disrupt an anticipated communist offensive, a contingent of more than 10,000 South Vietnamese troops began to sweep 45 miles northwest of Saigon to find and destroy enemy bunkers. Yeah, that's where we served up there, Cu Chi and the Iron Triangle area on the Laotian border. Yeah, there you go. The number one song on this date, 1972, January 20th, was by Don McLean, American Pie. I know you remember that one. Next. Okay, first photo in the photo club, that's me, by the way, in case you don't recognize me. This is outside the USO in Saigon. After my second wound, I got out of the hospital. They reassigned me to Division Headquarters Rear in Bien Hoa. And I had a pretty lush job, but some of it was pretty bad. 14 hours on, 58 hours off. I'm not complaining. See guys come in and go, come in country, go out of country, transfers, give out R&Rs, whatever it was like that, and be in charge of the Division Headquarters Rear on a shift. I had to drive certain people to the airport to pick them up at the UCO, bigwigs, politicians, generals, whatever. Interesting work, but thinking about my guys in the field. Okay, next picture. This is from Steve Workett on top of Marble Mountain, June of 1970. Myself and four other security personnel went on an excursion, went off duty. The photo is an example of a real reason we served in Vietnam. You got a great heart there, Stephen. Appreciate that. Thank you. Next picture. Darren Wells, who remembers the who remembers the ants, the re-up frog, and the lizards in Cambodia? How about walking up to find land crabs lying beside you? Or waking up? Okay. It scared me. Acid bugs. Okie. Me in the middle. Gotcha. Yeah, I remember those ants. We were in the rubber plantation, the Michelin rubber plantation, northwest of Cu Chi there. And on riding on APCs from the 11th Cav, we hit these trees, and boom, all these ants would fall off the trees, and you had to get naked real quick, man. And that didn't work. And snakes, bugs, all kinds of things. Next. Marie Kenneran. Thank you, Marie. CW. Oh, this must be someone very personal to you. 92nd, Sidekick 6, lounging on the top of a rotary blade on a Huey. He was enjoying his cigar in the breeze. He said he was taken at the 173rd Airborne Base. Thank you, Marie. Okay, John Russell, Vung Tao, One Day in Oli, 1970. This is an acquaintance from Texas named Dewey Darley. Hey, Dewey, how you doing? You look like, who was that guy in Apocalypse Now with the cavalry, first Cav hat there. I forget his name. Robert Duvall. Very good. Okay, and one more we got here. Michael V. Macy. March 69 in the Pineapple southwest of Saigon. Great John Wayne gig, John. You did good. Michael there. John Wayne and Michael. Every bit of 20 years old. I hear you, brother. Bunch of kids. All right. And this is something I found was pretty weird. I went to I go to shows to sell my book, and they have other vendors there. And this guy was selling these Vietnamese cards about the war. It's amazing. And they're all about all kinds of different things. It's like Vietnam. This is the one about pushing the Hueys off the aircraft carriers at the end of the war when we had to leave. Or we didn't have to leave, but we did. This is one about the Village Defense Forces trying to do that Hearts and Lives thing in Vietnam. Crazy. And one has about President Kennedy making a speech. There you go. It tells you a story about the back. Very interesting stuff. This says President Kennedy's support of South Vietnam and his concern over the spread of communism is illustrated in this excerpt from his famous speech. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. Now we're going to bring our guest in, John Frantangelo, who served with the 1st Division in Vietnam in 1967. Welcome, John.
Hi, Ronnie. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Fine, my man. You're looking like you're in the jungle back there already.
Oh, like I said before, you can take the vet out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the vet.
That's it, brother. Okay.
You live it every day.
Thank you very much. Thank you for John. I want to let everybody know that John's an author, a radio host, and he's a Silver Star and a Purple Heart recipient. Unbelievable. He was awarded a Silver Star and received a Purple Heart. Excuse me about that. He was the Black Scarf Battalion, and his nickname was Pizza because he was the only Italian in his unit, whatever that meant, or squad or platoon or whatever. But there you go. Very good. So, John, give us a brief history of your time in Vietnam with the Big Red One.
Okay. It all started out when after we took my training in basic and AIT in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, Tank Hill. A lot of guys can relate to the Tank Hill. And when we went over to Vietnam, I had a friend of mine that took AIT. We went lucky. We got together. We went over there together, and we were online where they were giving out the units. Okay, so I always had a habit of staying back, wait to the end of the line, let everybody go ahead of me. We're getting closer to the sergeant was giving out the units, and he gets to me and Eddie. He said, well, he looks up. He said, we're the line companies are all filled up. We don't know what to do with you two guys. So he's looking around, he paid me. He said, I tell you what, he said, I'm going to put you guys with headquarters detachment. So right away, the bells went off for me and Eddie's head. We figured we struck gold here, we hit the lotto. And but before we got hopes up, he says, well, I'm going to put you at recon. They come back from the field short all the time, So right away, we didn't know what short meant. So we thought, uh-oh, we know recon was scouts, and we said, uh-oh, this ain't good, is it? So anyway, it hadn't worked out for the best because being in a recon platoon it was dangerous, but we were always out at night a lot on our own. But but they left us alone. They didn't bother us at all. So we went to the Big Red One, and they made me a machine gunner, an M60, and Eddie, we got so lucky that he became my ammo bearer. And to get into it, we had to go to Jungle Devil School, what they call JD School. That was a 1 week training to familiarize with the jungles, jungle warfare, and which we did. And when we come out of that, I was a plumber, by trade. So one of the guys that was there was a short timer who had gotten shot in his foot. His name was Bob, and he says to me, "Hey John, I heard you do plumbing. Would you help me build a shower? This is our base camp was Phuc Vinh." So I said, okay, sure, no problem. So we got this done. We built a big shower, double tanks, 55-gallon drum back to back spigots. We had two barracks, screened-in barracks, regular barracks, and the shower worked out really good. So we were there for a couple of weeks. We found out that the first operation, I didn't know the first thing about the machine gun. Okay. So
you carried it?
No, because we trained on the 106 recoilless and the 90 millimeter recoilless, right? Which was the 106 was a great weapon, but Vietnam was too muddy, so they really didn't use it because it was loaded on a Jeep. So as soon as we got there, they made us 11B. 11H was the 106, and they made us 11B, which is infantry. So we're there, and this Sergeant Dutch, one of the platoon sergeants, comes over and he says, "Look, John, we're going to make you an M60 machine gunner, and I'm going to introduce you to this guy Ronnie, who's our machine gunner, right? And he'll teach you about the weapon." So he introduces me to Ronnie, and we became very close friends. And we were telling each other about each other. And I told him I had just gotten married in basic training, and that my wife at the time was became pregnant. So he's showing me all about the gun. I took the came apart in like 33 pieces, and I knew it forwards and backwards thanks to him. And he had just celebrated getting engaged, and they told us that we were going to go on our first major operation, okay, on June 12th. So now it's getting closer. It's like June 11th, and Ronnie had just celebrated his birthday was May 27th, which, by the way, happens to be my present day anniversary. So he went to celebrate. This is the night before the operation. This is June 11th now, okay? This is the night before the operation, and he's out celebrating with the guys in town. I was by myself. I never went to town. I didn't like going to bars. And I was just writing the letters home, and I see Ronnie coming in with a book. He come into the barracks to visit with me, and I'm sitting on the bunk, and he's facing me on the other bunk, and he's got this book. And I said, "What's up, Ronnie?" He said, "John, I got to show you something." He had two sheets to the wind now, okay? So he's giggling, and he wore glasses. So he's opening the book. He said, "Look, I got to show you. I just got engaged, and his wife's nickname was Babe, which he had scratched on his cover plate of the machine gun. And he's showing me his pictures, and every time he shows me a picture, he'd slap his knee and the back and start giggling, really happy, So anyway, now while we're doing this, we're hearing B-52 bombers bombing where the LZ for the next morning that we're going to hit, okay? And they were like machine guns. They were 500 pounders going down like machine gun bullets. So he walks out of the barracks, and goes to bed. So next morning, we're up now. Now we're recon, so we got to lead out. We got to secure the LZ. Okay. So we line up, and they load us up on deuce and a halves, and we finally head out to the chopper pad. Now we get in the first 5 choppers. Okay. So now I'm on the floor on the left side with my gun and leg hanging out the open doors, right? And 2 other guys beside me and 4 on the bench behind me. So now, like I said, this we're green now. This is like first LZ. I mean, we've flown on choppers before, but this is the first LZ that we're hitting. So now we'll pick up, move on, and next thing you know, we're coming to the LZ. And we finally see it, and the choppers start going down. And I'd say they got about treetop when all of a sudden the chopper gunners both opened fire, okay? So right away I think, oh, we got incoming here. So I put my leg in, getting ready to fire back. And they told me, no, this is cover fire. We didn't know. Like I said, we were green, so we didn't know. It scared the crap out of us. So anyway, they come down. Now we jump off. They just hovered. Now we didn't know, because now you got your full pack and gear on, and I didn't carry the bullets around my neck. I just had with the gun pouch, which holds about 100 rounds. Because you got to run, and the bullets around your neck is only going to interfere with you. So you jump off, and we get shin deep in mud, okay, because it had rained. And now the trees are down, and you're picking up your feet, sucking that the mud is sucking down like a vacuum, right? And you're huffing and puffing, you're climbing over the trees, you got the machine gun, everybody else, because we had hit this LZ and hoping that wasn't a hot LZ. Luckily, it wasn't. And we finally got to the edge, the wood line, which is about 150 feet. And now we're setting up, okay, and we secure the area. So now the battalion's coming in. And when they come in, it's secure, so they're coming in nonchalantly, like, rifles over the shoulders, walking in, like a church social. And I'm telling Eddie, hey, look at this, man. So anyway,
you're right.
Yeah, right. So anyway, we're there about an hour and a half. Okay, this is this is how I broke in really fast. We're there about an hour and a half. We start eating our breakfast. All of a sudden, we hear automatic fire, gunfire. So our sergeant, Santos, he come over, right? He says, "Pizza, come with me, hurry up, come on, me and Eddie, right?" So now Eddie Eddie was deathly feared of water. Okay, so I got held back because I had to, even if he had to walk through a puddle, I had to hold his hand, to assure him that it was safe, So the other guys were a little ahead of me. So I got Eddie, we got through the water, and we go, and I don't know who's hurt yet. We just know one of our guys was hit. We didn't know how bad it was hit. Okay, so now we get to where the injury was, the injured soldier was, and I see a medic trying to save this guy, right? And we still don't know who it was because it was jungle and he was down low. Then I see one of our guys, Baker, hoist him up on his shoulder, right? So he's carrying him out and he gets by me. Now I'm standing there with my machine gun. And I got my ammo bearer and David C., my other ammo bearer, who had two. And he drops it. Now I know who it was. It was Ronnie, okay? Ronnie Ells, the guy who showed me his book. So I said, okay. So I said to Dutch, the other side, I said, Dutch, you want me to carry him? So he says to me, yeah, you think you can? I said, yeah, of course I can carry him. No, so now I didn't know how bad off he was. So I was trying to be careful. So I gave my gun to David C. And I said, hold this for me and I'm gonna get him. I got him on my shoulder. So I'm carrying him out, still trying to be very careful, And I go about, I'd say 50 yards. And he starts slipping off. So I said to Dutch, I got to put him down. He's slipping off, So I put him down really gently. And when he went down, he fell back, face up. His hands were over his head. His eyes were open. He had a big hole in his chest that the dog tags was inside his chest. I could put my fist in it. And I said to Dutch, he's dead. And I didn't know he's dead. That's why I was being so careful, I said, Dutch, he's dead. He said, yeah, I know he's dead. I know. So now we had to dust him off. We had to carry him. We made a stretcher out of a ponchos, and me and this guy Tex, we carried him the rest of the way. And David C. and actually four of us, we had him. And his head was bouncing. His arms were laid back and bouncing, and I'm looking back at him. And here's the guy that I just seen the night before, happy about his engagement. And he's lifeless, and we put him on.
That's sad, man. That's sad.
It was first day of an operation. I saw my first dead GII. I had his blood and his piece of his skin on my shirt for 3 days. Because you don't change your clothes for a few days.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I had all this on so it left I call it pizza stain. Left a stain in my heart that I would never forget. Because
I'm sorry about that, man. Yeah. That's crazy. That's really wow. Yep. All right, so let's go on to why they call it the Black Scarf Battalion.
Oh yeah, well here's what happened in 1965. The first and second Infantry Division, which is part of the first Infantry Division, right? Destroyed a village, a VC village, and they come across this roll of material, this black material. Said we're going to burn it, search and destroy, burn everything. But the commander said, no, let's not burn. I got an idea. So let's make scarves. So what did they make scarves, and they made different colors, like the first and second. I don't know if you can see it behind me.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay. Yeah. The first and second, Recon was yellow. Like the Bravo company might have been white. Another one might have been green. They made all different colors for your particular company. And that's how that came down to be. And actually, the black scarves had bounties on them. So if any of the VC killed or even got a black scarf somehow, they'd get an extra pot of rice, whatever they gave them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So,
okay, tell us about this book you're writing about the Wind Talkers.
Well, the book is not. No, the book isn't about the Wind Talkers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the book is called The Last Goodbye. And what it was is that to go back in 1965, as you well know, we all knew we were going to get drafted. There was no lottery, and we knew as soon as we turned 19, we were going to get in it. We were going to get drafted. So my cousin Tony, who came from Italy when he was 6, this is when we met up, and they lived with us until they got on their own. We had 7 families that come from Italy. My grandmother had 21 kids. Okay, so we have a huge family. Yeah.
What?
Actually, yeah. And
natural birth?
Oh yeah, natural birth. No twins, no triplets.
21
Oh,
kids.
yeah. And believe it or not, they had 3 Steves and 3 Mikes. So one Steve, back then they died young. One Steve would die, they rename it Steve. You
Oh, I'm
know.
sorry for laughing. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's okay. No, it's okay. But anyway, so they all had, and who had 7 kids, who had 5 kids, you know, so they all came over. So me and Tony got very close. We were like brothers. And he came into the same school as me, PS 78 in the Bronx. And then they went on their own. But he always came over every weekend, every holiday, every summer vacation, you know, Christmas. We were always together. We were inseparable. He loved to come see me play because I was a drummer. Come see me play in the band. Loved playing baseball. Work out once in a while. He'd work out with me. And anyway, we grew up together. And on Thanksgiving Day, 1965, we were at his house on Valentine Avenue in the Bronx, right? And we said, after we ate dinner, we said, let's go for a ride because we just got our licenses. You know, he just got a 1963 blue Pontiac LeMans. So we're going for a ride. He's driving, and we're listening to the radio, and all we hear is Vietnam, Vietnam this, Vietnam that. You know, so we figured, oh man, it ain't going to be long before we're going there. You know. So we were cruising around Fordham, and it was dead. The streets were dead. Nothing. We were looking for chicks, naturally. So anyway, we go down, and we pull over, and I said, Tony, what do you want to do, man? You know, he said, John, he says, let's go home. I want to go home. Every time I tell this, I get teared up. He said, I want to go home because I think it's going to be the last time we spend a holiday with our families. I said, okay, Tony, if that's what you want to do, let's go home. All right. So we did, you know. Now the next year, let's say he was 6 months older than me. So he got his draft notice actually 6 months before me. So I thought before his birth, you know, my birthday. So I thought I had a little time. But he was born in February, I was born in September. But when he got his like in, I think it was March, whatever it was. And in October he went. So I figured I had 6 months when my term, because my birthday was in September. But no, as soon as I turned 19, I got my letter in October. So we were only 1 month apart. And I had a report in November. Okay. So he's already in Fort Gordon, Georgia. And I'm going to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So now I'm saying to myself, geez, I said, just think about this. It's only November and it's before Thanksgiving, and I'm not home to spend Thanksgiving, and neither is he. So I'm flashing back to what he said the year before.
Yeah.
I said, man, maybe he's maybe got something here, because next year where are we going to be, you know? And actually, we go to Vietnam. He goes with the 25th Infantry Division, stationed at Cu Chi, and I went with the big red one, and we corresponded in Vietnam through letters, and we were planning on going R&R, and we never got to do it. So I got 3 of his letters, which I wrote in my book. The book's called The Last Goodbye, and the cover of the book. Well, I'll tell you about the cover after I tell you what. So anyway, he on July 26, 1967, he ends up getting killed. Okay, and I have to escort his body home. All right, so now when they told me this, I was in the jungle, and one guy comes up to me. First my sergeant comes up. He said, John, you know, I think you're going to be going home. I said, why? He said, well, he says, you were chosen to be an escort. So I don't know if people know this, but everyone who's killed in the at least during Vietnam anyway, anyone who was killed there had a personal escort take him home. Okay. So he said, you're going to be a personal escort for someone, a dead GI. I said, really? So at first, you know, naturally sad to hear about, but I was kind of happy that I was going to go home because at the time my first wife was 5 months pregnant, and I'd get to see her. I didn't know who I was taking home yet. So then this other guy comes over. I didn't know this guy. He's a sergeant or something. You know? He comes up to me. He says, he had to tell me about the escort. He said, look, you're going to go back to the States. You're going to escort a body. He says, you're going to get your orders. He says, but he asked me, do I have relatives in country? I said, yeah, sure. I got about 4 cousins here. He said, well, it might be one of your relatives. So I said to myself, oh God, I said, I love all my cousins. I said, but don't let it be Tony. Okay, just please don't let it be Tony. Right? So anyway, they took me out. They flew me by chopper to this tent. This captain was in there, and I walk in there, and he's standing there, and tells me to come over. He has his paper, and he turns the paper around with a name on it, and he says, "Do you know this fellow?" Right? It was Anthony Rutigliano. I said, "Yeah." I said, "That's my cousin." He says, "Okay." He says, "Well, he was killed in action on July 26th." He said, "Look, you're going to be going home on TDY, 15-day TDY, temporary duty, and you'll get your orders when you get to California, whatever." So now, this is why I wrote the book. That night, when I went back to Phuc Vinh, I got dropped off at the barracks, and nobody was, because the battalion was out still in the field, and there was only two guys there. They were sick or something when I jungle ride, one was sick, whatever. And I was in the middle. All right, my bunk was in the middle, and the barracks was screened in all around. Okay, half up wood, but the rest was screened, and had two screen doors, one on each end, and a dim light outside the door. And one guy was listening to his radio, playing music, and he was on right next to the door on this side, on my side, and the other guy was on the opposite end, on the opposite side, and he was right with a flashlight, because it was dark, and the lights were out. Now it got to be about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm looking around, and these guys are out because I could tell by the slow breathing, that they were sleeping. So I'm thinking about me and Tony, the days gone by, and all the adventures we were with, and next thing I'm lying in my bunk under the sheet. I just had my shorts on. I was bare up top, and I hear footsteps outside the door, the screen door, and I'm looking, and I see a soldier standing there. And I said, who's this guy? So the screen door swings open, and the soldier starts walking. He's dressed in khakis. He has his cap on. So now the little dim light that it was behind him, and I couldn't see his face. I couldn't make him out, but I noticed he was walking towards me. So I sat up in bed, and the soldier stops at the foot of my bed, and I look up and I say, "Tony." It was my cousin, Tony. I said, "Tony, I wasn't asking a question. I was saying it, Tony. What? It was he was real. He wasn't a ghost. I couldn't see through him. He wasn't transparent, but he stood there, and he had a little smile on his face, no teeth showing, just a little grin. And he stretched out his hand, and I did the same. I stretched my hand out. We clasped our hands. We shook. Then he never said a word, not one word. He turned around, walked out the screen door. The screen door slammed shut, and he just vanished. He just disappeared. And I say in the book, I said, he could not leave this world without coming to say goodbye to me. So that's why I call it The Last Goodbye. And that's the main reason why I wrote the book. I wanted people to know that my cousin existed, that he lived, and he died for this country, and all my other friends who I name in the book. And I used the real names. I used their real names. I want everybody to
wonderful tribute.
Yeah, and I tell all their stories, and the first page of my book, because I want people to understand something. It's called Legacy. It's only one little paragraph, and I say, what you're about to read in this book is my story. I said, there are hundreds of thousands of you men and women out there who have stories of their own. I urge you to tell them. Go on and on, because I was worried about veterans reading my book, especially Vietnam veterans, because I figured they could be very critical. Because that's why I wanted to look. This is my story. I'm telling the truth. This is what happened to me. You got your stories to tell. But people have got in touch with me since they read the book, and they were thanking me. Vietnam, especially Vietnam veterans. And guys, look, one guy came to my house. I didn't know him. He said, "John, I had to look you up when I read your book because it meant so much to me. It helped me because he had a very serious PTSD.
Right.
Actually came to my house to find me to talk to me about it. So it helped a lot of veterans. And that's what I want them to get out there to tell their stories, because I tell them, don't leave this world without leaving behind your legacy, because your family and your children and grandchildren deserve to know what you went through for this country."
Amen. So let's move on to your photos. We got 3 photos of you.
Okay. Okay, that's me. We just got back from that Operation Billings. Okay, that I was telling you about with with Ronnie Elza got killed.
Right.
And that's from the left, that's Jerry King, Abe Rahar, James Hessel, and Terry Havens. And that's me kneeling. Now, King, we never got a hold of. And Rahar lives in Michigan. I finally got a hold of him. And then James Hessel, we nicknamed him Baldy. We never got a hold of him. But Terry Havens, we called him Funky. I got a hold of him. And I was on the phone with him. This is about a few years ago that we were all going to meet up because I met up with seven of the crew, and he ended up dying. He told me he had cancer, and he ended up dying 2 weeks later. So I never got to see him. But Rayhar's okay. I'm still in contact with him. Actually, he's on my documentary that they made for my book. But I met up with David C., who's in the book, Tex, who's in the book, Charles Pauls. They're all in the book. Charles House. I never got to. He died recently of a heart attack. All of them Agent Orange. And David C. just passed away too, and so did Tex about a couple of months.
That's crazy.
So I lost 4 of them in three years.
Wow.
Oh, that's me on the machine gun. You know, a funny thing about this is that when I first got off the plane in Vietnam, you're driving they're taking you by truck to where you're going. You Phu Vinh, and I happened to see a group of these gun jeeps, and I said to myself, "Wow, that's great! It looks like Rat Patrol. Remember Rat Patrol on TV years ago? That's great, right?" So, lo and behold, I become one of the gunners on a gun jeep, right? So, but that was great. I used to love that. I used to love barreling down the road with a machine gun on there like that. That's me, and actually in Fort Dix. When I it was on Armed Forces Day in 1968, and when they awarded me the Silver Star. That's the general at that time.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Okay, what is your name of your book?
It's called The Last Goodbye.
Okay. That's quite fitting name.
Yeah, that's why I did, yeah. And,
you have a picture of it? You have a copy of it with you?
I sure do, yeah.
Can you put it up for the camera there?
Yeah, this.
Hold on.
You see it?
Bring it up in the middle. Hold that right there. Oh, right by the bed.
Right, that's it. Yeah, that's the vision I wanted to put. Ever since that happened, I knew someday I would write this book. I started writing it 50 years, back about 1969, 70, because everything was fresh in my head. And by writing it, then I'm glad I did, because I read after going through all my notes, I said to myself, man, I would have never remembered this. Like I had a certain conversation with Sergeant Santos that he would never, that he wouldn't tell anybody else. You know what I mean? Because we were close. And he told me these things about, because he got the Silver Star, and I said to myself, man, I would have never remembered that conversation had I not wrote it way back then,
Right.
So I'm glad I did. And there's a lot of stories in the book from different soldiers to tell their stories,
Yeah, that's a interesting aspect, because when we were involved in a friendly fire incident that killed 12 of our company members and platoon members, like 9-4 deuce rounds fell short.
Mm-hmm.
And 13 killed, 22 wounded.
Mm-hmm.
And I promised myself that I would go back home and visit the friends and or family members of the great soldiers that got killed that day.
Right.
And 50 years later, I wrote the book.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
I mean, time goes by.
It sure does. Yeah.
You got a picture there. We got the picture here. Full Never Forgotten. And it's a sad.
I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna read that. I want to read it.
It's just one of those things that people that are not in war have no idea what it's about.
No, exactly.
So,
right.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you very much about all of the stuff that you told us, and continues your good service with the books and the radio show that you have. What's the name of the radio show?
It's called CodeWindTalk.com.
Code Wind.
Yes, CodeWindTalk.
Like the Navajo guys in World War II.
Well, that's what this guy Carl Van Evius the third, who produced it. I have a host, Darren Aquino, who's a congressman in Florida. He
Right.
hosted, I co-host it, and he's Darren's an advocate for disabled veterans. He's all
Right.
out for disabled veterans, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So he hosts it. You know, we have
And
guests like you.
what's the name of the show?
It's called Code Wind Talk.
Code Wind Talkers.
Right. If you go
Okay.
see,
How can we see it?
you can go on triplevibes.com.
Triple Vibes.
Yeah, .com, or you go on codewindtalk.com and you'll have the link. You'll see all the links.
Code
You know,
Wind Talk.
Codewindtalk.com. Yeah, and
CODE.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
And if you go on, yeah, CODEWIND
Right.
TALK. And if you go on thelastgoodbye-book.com, you'll come up with my book and the documentaries and pictures, and you know, if you want to review.
If people want to know about it too, they could always get in touch with us.
Okay, or Amazon, they go on Amazon. Yeah, yes,
yeah. You got it. Well, thank you very much, man. Appreciate it.
Okay.
This is our show tonight is brought to you by Simplified Home Loans, who sponsors our book, these kind of shows, and we're going to send you one of these in the mail. So be ready. Okay.
Who me?
Yeah, you. That's for you.
Oh, I was okay because I was going to go get it on the.
No, you don't go get nothing. That's okay. The Simplified Home Loans does veteran loans. You know, veteran home loans. So this is going to send it. We're going to send this out to you in care of them.
Okay, I'll send you one of mine. You know.
Thank you very much, bro. We'll do we'll do wife swapping. We'll do book swapping. Sorry about it. How that came out. Probably from your story. All right, brother. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, we're in our sound off section, John. Get ready for this.
Okay.
All right. David Sherflet. Sherflet, yeah. Salute from a Vietnam veteran. Thank you so much for remembering us, 6970. 2 birthdays and 2 Christmases in Vietnam. He made it home. He will never forget. Home was never the same. Amen, brother. Thank you, David. Next comment. Kilo 19, the Big Red One, a very historic division. Amen. From, they were in World War I, right?
Yeah.
Probably even before that. Next, we got Manuela Ramos. Thank you, all Vietnam veterans and the ones who didn't come home. We have a very home in my heart. Very nice. Pepito lives in Costa Rica. Loves the pictures. There you go. That's it for the pictures, Matt? Okay, Marie. Is that slices of pizza? Oh. We have a very,
By the way, Marie.
We have quite a diversified audience out there, Mr. That was really cute, Marie. Thank you. And Jersey Joe Archino, my buddy Joe, and yours buddy too. 2 amazing Americans. God bless you both, and thank you for fighting the good fight in Vietnam. Thank you, Joe. Talk to you soon, brother. Marie Kenneran again. Marie Kenneran, Vietnam veteran, true blood story, and a hero about carrying his buddy. The first time is always remnants of the past. Thank you for sharing. At John Fratangelo Pizza. Oh, you got to be careful over here what you let out because you're going to get backfired. Kilo 19. What do you think of the M60, John? You had some experience with it, but not much.
He had some experience. Oh yeah, no, I love the M60. I loved it. Yeah. That was a great weapon. Great weapon.
As long as your ammo bearer was by, right?
Well, that's another story with the ambush.
You never hear about stories from ammo bearers.
No,
I never heard one. I want to do a story with an ammo bearer. How they had to run their ass over and how much they had to carry, and besides their own equipment, they got these. How many metal cans? Those ammo cans did they carry in bandoliers?
2 each.
2 cans, and how many bandoliers?
Oh, they usually have maybe 1 or 2 on them, and I'd have 1 on me, and I have to pouch. But to get back to the M60, to answer John's question, my question. I can't see without my glasses. Kilo?
John's question. Yeah.
I took the M60 was such a great one. I took the bipods off.
Right.
Because it used to get hung up in the bush, you know?
Yeah. With the vines and the bush. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure.
Can I tell a little quick thing about?
Yeah, go ahead.
One thing about the M60, I never carried it on my shoulder. Never. I always hipped it. No, and not even the strap. Because when you're walking in the jungle, you see from the waist up. And there's two reasons why. First of all, if you have the M60 on your shoulder, by the time you take it off your shoulder, lift out the cover plate, put the belt in there, cover the plate, cock it, you're dead. So, and not only that, but when you're just walking in the jungle, you see from the waist up. So if you're carrying a machine gun on your shoulder and Charlie's out there, okay, he's going to spot you and know that you're the firepower, and he's going to go right after you. The first guy he's going to kill with the machine gun.
So, not only that, about bringing it down and you being dead, but you not covering
exactly,
and your buddies are dead.
I say that in the book. Yep, because they also yep.
Easy to figure out, man. 1 to 1 is 2.
That's right.
Okay. 1 second here. All right, the Big Red One. They won the first battle in World War I.
Yep.
How about that?
Call it the Bloody One.
There you go, John. Thank you very much for being in touch with you. Take care. God bless you, brother.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay, we got some Orange Medal Foundation winners. Get ready for this. This Agent Orange thing we talked about last night. Okay. These were subscribers to the YouTube page, Vietnam what's it called there, Matt? The Veterans Live Show. Yeah, there we go. Too many veterans and visuals. Veterans Live Show. The winner is for the hat of the Tom Visner. Okay. The shirt is Doug Carey. The patch is John Moore. The decal is Robert Clonin. And the pin in the pen is Peggy Buckley. Pin pen Peggy. All right, there you go. We'll get in touch with you on Facebook and get the addresses and stuff and mail you out these wonderful prizes sent to us from the Orange Heart Memorial. Our friend Ken Gamble out there in Springfield, Tennessee. He's doing a wonderful job. And next week we'll have some more. All righty. Thank you very much. Talk to you next week. God bless you all and welcome home.